me laugh when you do that. There's a lot of new voices in here. New
names. Okay, before we get started, okay? And look, I'm not gonna do anything crazy just yet. Listen to me. If you have a question, please make sure it's in all caps. We are down to one chat box tonight. For some reason in OBS, the chat is not coming up. I don't know if it's because of the weather.
Right, and just keep in mind, sometimes the chat's going really fast, and if it's going really fast, we might miss it. That's why we would normally look over there for it, because there's a bigger chat box there.
Bigger chat box. So, if we miss your question, please, we're not ignoring you. Just redo it. It's because we don't have the larger chat box tonight. I don't know what's going on.
And we're not going to be able to scroll back up to look at it. So
we're not going to be able to scroll back up.
Just bear with us.
To see it. Okay? So, we're sorry.
Mama.
We're sorry that that had happened. But, I got come in for dinner. Okay.
That's all me. You were ignoring me.
No, I wasn't ignoring you. It was just turned off.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Can you slow-mo it? We probably could, but...
How do you do that?
Can you go a little... Those right here, maybe? See, I was thinking you could pop out the chat. There it is, enable slow mode. The only problem is that then it means that somebody can't...
Right.
They can only post so much.
I wonder if you can do that. Pop it out. Boop.
Oh, can you throw it over there? Maybe that'll work.
That's not. That's just going to be the same size.
Not really. There you go. Okay. And we might have fixed this for right now anyway.
We may have jerry-rigged it.
So... What did you do?
I don't know what I did.
So Teresa was just asking, I don't know if Jason saw it or not.
There we go.
But there was anytime you click on that other one though, it's going to hide that.
Restore chat. Forget it.
Oh, it's not going to.
Yeah.
I got you. We're only going to get
We only got one.
Yeah. So. Anyway, so.
Wait,
real
no,
quick.
Wait, no. What do you mean wait? Why I got to wait?
Go ahead.
No, what were we going to say? No, what were we going to say?
Not important.
No, yes it is. What were we going to say? What were we going to say?
Hey, everybody.
I know what
Hope y'all having a great evening.
I know what you were getting ready to say.
What was I getting ready to say?
You were getting ready to say... Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, YouTube is proud to bring to you the Livestream Champions of the World! I'm the Big Bear. She's the Mama Bear. And we are the Big Bear Homestead!
Warn y'all, just saying. See, I wasn't paying attention to all of the comments, so I did. Thanks for the heart attack. That was loud for earbuds. All of you newer people, we used to do that 2 years ago. I'm gonna go get the FBI account. Just came in right at the dab. So what Teresa was saying is earlier, I don't know if it was today or yesterday, but she posted something in the Big Bear Homestead page that was about that whole Kiki song. And it's these two guys, and they're doing it in like 16 different voices throughout the song.
Did you see the old couple?
Uh-uh.
Oh, yeah, that was hilarious.
Which one is that? The one playing the piano?
No, the old couple walking beside the car doing the Kiki. Do you love me?
No.
Yes.
Oh, I have to watch that.
And
That's
it's the old man doing it first, and he's all looking at the camera. And then the old lady comes up, she starts bagging that thing up.
No, oh God.
He's all like,
oh my God, no.
Yeah, he don't even care.
My husband just asked Whiskey Tango Foxtrot and not in those words.
Yeah.
Oh, so funny.
Okay, so tonight.
It's raining.
It's.
I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. So tonight.
See, that's gonna bother me every time I look up there and that chat's not there.
Yep.
It's like my long lost chat friend is gone. Nundo!
Hey, Nando, what's up?
So tonight we're going to be discussing, or at least we're going to start talking about raccoons. Where you guys lead us from there, we never know.
Hey, Jen, what's up?
I don't talk to that person because I don't know quite frankly Jen. Don't know her at all.
I do. I know her quite fondly.
Nope. I do miss my farmer
I have a
Meemaw, though.
special place in my heart for Jen. It's really funny because whenever
and hold on, we got to say hi to John and her sister. How you say that? Deidre.
Say hi to Deidre.
Hi, Deidre.
Look, she said no, just no. The current topic is coyotes. Just saying.
So, raccoons.
Meemaw loves you, Jason.
No, she don't. She changed her name.
Anyway, she's always going to be Meemaw.
So, raccoons. Why do I want to talk about raccoons? Because this is about the time of year when their food sources start to get scarce. Mm-hmm. Raccoons' main diet is fruits, veggies, some nuts, crawfish, minnows, clams, freshwater clams, those kind of things. Well, here's the thing.
Thanks, Jen.
The crayfish, they've been sleeping for a little while now. They're not coming out that much, even
It's
here
cold, yeah.
where we are, because the water is cold.
Right.
There's
Chicken and duck at his house, yeah.
There's no more really any wild fruits, berries, nuts and stuff like out there left. If the nut hit the ground, then your deer, your wild hogs, and your other animals have already scarfed them up.
Yep.
Okay? So what does that mean for us? Well, plain and simple. Chicken is on the menu. Eggs are on the menu. Quail are on the menu. Mm-hmm. A rabbit could be on the menu if he's hungry enough. Mm-hmm. Haven't ever seen it happen, but I wouldn't put it past him.
Not if it's sitting in a cage just asking to be eaten.
Yeah.
Chicken's on my menu all the time.
So, what can we do
Hey, Marybeth.
to help protect our flock? Do you know? I know you know.
Listen to you.
See, that's why I love you. You're so smart.
Jen said, are you saying I should put some sardines in my trap tonight?
You can, but you'll catch a possum.
Most definitely. Call Big Bear for traps. For real, like, all joking aside, you know, this is obviously going to be a shameless plug for the stuff that we sell, but I've never seen, because I've been trapping with Jason for the last 12 years, and I've never seen something so effective as the coon cuff. You can set it out, and the next day have something in it. So...
Now, there are some things that you can do. You don't want to trap them, and you will a coon take a dead chicken? More than likely, no.
Usually
Possum
would.
Yeah. But there are some other things that you can do. If you're just dead set against trapping.
She's purging the room for us. That's awesome. Yay! Well, tell Deidre we said hi and tell John we love him. Have a good night.
John. Hey, you gonna eat that cornbread?
She said, well then, I don't have any possums.
Oh, you got possums. You in Arkansas. You got possums. But what can you do? If you don't want to mess with the trap. and because you either just don't want to deal with a caught raccoon, or you don't know what to do with the raccoon. Whatever. I feel you. I got you. Okay? There are some things that you can do. One is obviously make sure your chickens are locked up at night.
Yeah.
That will help.
That's a big thing.
That's huge. It's huge. But it's not the end all be all. That's
It's
not
not foolproof.
I lock my chickens up, so I'm good.
Well,
no.
We talked about it the other night. You were saying that, like, when you're doing exclusion, that it'll help with everything except raccoons. Because if a raccoon wants to do something, they're gonna do it. You love me, I know.
You're so beautiful.
You want me to sit in this corner over here and be quiet?
No, you're just sometimes you the light hits you in a certain way and it takes my breath away.
Oh, I thought you were just getting mad at me for interrupting
gorgeous.
you.
No.
Okay.
No, you're just so beautiful. And so what you can do, yes, lock them up. Okay? That helps. But some other things that you can do. Electric fencing around your coop and around the run. You want to put we use 3 strands. When we have them up in a coop, boom, 3 strands. You got the very Celtic Nana.
Mm-hmm.
What's up? Very bottom strand, about anywhere from 8 to 10 inches from the ground. Boom. Then you want to have one about middle, and then you want to have one right above the top of your fence. Okay? Now, what's going to happen is your raccoon's going to climb that fence. He may get the bottom one, and it may zap him. You know? He may duck up underneath the middle one, but he may touch it, and it may zap him. Mm-hmm. But he's definitely going to reach up and grab a hold of that top one.
Yep.
You're hoping to get him before...
Dancing bear. So, real quick, like, before you talk about more about that, Grandpa Jim wants to know, where'd you get your hat? He needs one.
A subscriber sent this to me because my lovely ex-wife kept my one that I got while I was in Australia. And so Robyn got it for me through this subscriber in Australia for our anniversary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I reached out to her because she sent us some stuff from Australia. And so I reached out to her and said, hey, you know, do you know what this kind of a Bushman hat is? And she's like, basically, we just call that a hat here. And I was like, okay. And take it off for just a half a second and show everybody, like, the inside's got, like, the full, I don't know if you could see that. There we go. It's a particular, it says made in Australia. It came in a nice, like a nice sack, and it's just really cool. Put it back on and fix it. But, it's an authentic, like, this is a really cool thing about the internet. She called me, Facebook called me from Australia, and was walking through the market and was like, is this the kind you're looking for? Is this the kind you're looking for? Yep, that's it right there. Well, what size does he need? Oh, this is, you know, his head looks about the same size. That'll work. So it was really cool. Like, she was, and I haven't seen her very much, but I know she works, and because of they're 13 hours ahead of us. So right now it's 8 o'clock in the morning, and sometimes she's working. So she kind of misses a lot of our live streams, but very, very, very nice lady. I still have a kangaroo.
I'd like to welcome JT's Crappy Cave.
Crappy Cave?
To the show. It's his first time here. What's up, JT?
I'm assuming that's crappy as in
the fish.
Crappy, not saying he's crappy.
Just
So anyway, back to, you were talking about the raccoons. You have the 3 wires, and you're saying that he's most definitely going to hit that top one. Mm-hmm. And Josh said that, you know, he had a paw print inside his coop and got to see, you know, firsthand. He said, and I didn't put any electric fencing on.
Yeah, Josh didn't listen to me.
Yeah, he didn't listen because Jason told him that.
Yep. Blacksmith thought he knew more than me. Lost a bunch of ducks and a bunch of chickens.
Yeah. But once he did listen,
It was gone.
he caught it. Yeah.
So maybe if he would have carved into a tree trunk, "Go home, raccoon," maybe that would have worked for him. So you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Motion censored lights and motion censored sprinklers. Get the ones that go brrr, brrr.
They make motion censored sprinklers. I didn't know that.
Was that thunder?
Yes. And lightning.
Yeah.
I tried stern words for the raccoons. Didn't work well, so I got the coon cuffs from Jason. And not to brag too much, and I will tell you, they are so kind. Every time that we bring this up, they will be very forthcoming with the information that as soon as they got them and got them out of the box, they set them. And like the next morning, they were sending you pictures. And it was really, and that's what I'm talking about. They're so efficient and so effective with catching them that it's, I mean, I don't think we'll ever use a cage trap unless we just absolutely had to ever again for a raccoon because of the way that they act. What? Because the way they act, it just seems that when you use the biology of an animal against them, they're curious. And so they tend to want to go digging in that coon cuff a lot better than they will walking into a trap. Just my 2 cents.
I will never say I will never not use a trap. Because...
Well, the minute you say that...
You just dared some raccoon. So you don't want to use
No, I said unless I had to. But it is but the coon cuff is definitely my trap of choice.
Pay my plane ticket. And I will be there, rat traps in hand.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah, she was
me.
asking. No, she was asking yesterday when
She
you were
said
going to put me on vacation over there.
Me. She said me, not you.
She asked me yesterday.
Me.
I can set rat traps too.
Not correctly.
Whatever. I did learn from the best.
That's right. So who do you want? The teacher or the student? Come on, that was funny. You walked right into that one. Mm-hmm. All right, so those are some things that you can do. But at the end of the day, right now, they're hungry.
I love you.
That's just...
There you go. Sometimes the student surpasses the teacher.
Somebody take Mama's keyboard away. I thought you weren't allowed to touch anything on a computer, Mama.
No touchy.
So that's wrong on like 16 different.
I hope he checks my chocolate before I eat it.
But at the end of the day, all joking aside, they are hungry.
Yeah, this is definitely the time of year.
And the only thing that is more aggressive than a hungry raccoon is a mama raccoon defending her babies.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, you may have no choice but to trap the raccoon or sit out there all night in weather like this, because this kind of weather doesn't bother them. They're going to come out anyway. Why? Because they're hungry. Mm-hmm. And try to get a pop shot at them. Personally, I like the warm. I like to be dry. I've had my time being cold and wet. Didn't like it then. Ain't gonna like it now when I'm older. Traps are always working. They're always on the job. until they catch something.
They want the cornbread.
So why not take this valuable tool and put it into play? Yeah. So there are many different types of traps that you can use for raccoons. The ones that I suggest, especially if you have a barn cat. You'll want the coon cuff, aka the dog proof. If you have a farm dog that wanders, you will want the coon cuff. The coon cuff, aka the dog proof trap, is target specific. It will only catch raccoons, possums, and I heard skunks. I've never seen it catch a skunk. I don't want to see it catch a skunk. But the biology is there that it could.
It could.
Now, the reason why this trap will only catch those animals is because those animals can grasp. Okay? They have digits. They can reach in there and grab something.
Yeah, a skunk would not be fun.
And the premise of the coon cuff is he has to reach inside a tube and he's grabbing food. And then he will grab the trigger and pull on it. And as soon as he pulls on it,
grabs him by the arm. That's
and it
why the
grabs
cuff.
him high.
Yeah.
Okay? Back in the day, well, even today, your number ones, your 1.5s, your 1.75s, your 2s, they'll still catch a coon and hold him, okay? But they're only catching him right here on his wrist, or by his pad, or by his fingers. And if you look, and I'm not trying to be gross or anything, but if he doesn't want to be in there, and he's got the testicular fortitude to do it, he will chew his hand off because there's nothing there but bone.
Yeah.
Okay? So it's pretty much, it doesn't really hurt him.
Right.
Okay? He'll just gnaw it off like it's no big deal.
Yep.
Now, but when you get up here to the meat of the matter.
Well, one, they can't reach. It's too.
Yeah.
It's an awkward.
It's an awkward
reach,
chew.
So they don't really have the amount of range of motion to be able to do it. But even if they could, they wouldn't, because there's a lot more pain sensors and things in meat up there than there is down by there. You know, so.
Yeah. So, with that being said, the other one would be a cage. But leave the have a hearts at the ASPCA or at your county animal control. Do not try to catch a coon with a have a heart.
They tear them apart.
They will make, look, they'll make a mockery out of you with it. Especially if you get a big boar coon.
Yeah.
The tomahawk cage trap is more expensive. But when I had mine before they got stolen and the lady replaced it with cheap traps, the tomahawk, I have caught more than 100 coons in there, and it works just as good as the day I had it.
I forgot about that. Only suggestion I have is make sure there's nothing of value in the arc that the coon can reach. Because once it's in the coon cuff, I have 2 perforated garden hoses thanks to one of those little cusses.
Yes. That is what we call the trap circle. And what Steve is talking about is that you do have to anchor the coon cuff. And Professor, thanks for bringing that up. That's a very good point. The coon cuff has to be anchored. Now, you can do like how we do and use airline cable so that way you can wrap it around a fence post, a tree. I suggest a tree. Leave the fence post alone because they'll tear it
They'll
up.
take the take the post with them, dragging down the road.
And he will basically kind of run in a circle trying to pull his stuff out. Love your comfy pants, Robyn.
I know. I gave up on trying to hide them. Sorry.
Green Dream Project. Whoosh.
Have a boy that mowed over my garden hoses.
And
Night, Josh.
Night, Josh. So you have to anchor that coon cup.
Right.
Now, don't do like somebody else. I love this big buffoon to death. He's one of my best friends.
No dab for me. Lone Star, you hurt his feeling.
But J0
Yeah.
got J0 a coon cuff, and I said, man, you need to use the airline cable.
Oh, I was like,
I'm just going to use trapping wire number 3, and I'm going to wrap it a couple of times. John,
just saying.
just get the airline cable, man. It's going to cost you like 50 cents.
Mm-hmm.
And so he didn't use the airline cable. Now there's a raccoon
Walking around.
in
Like
Ohio,
Captain Hook.
like Captain Hook, with a coon cuff on, telling all the other coons, I barely gotta wait. Yeah, listen to me. And he's like smacking the other coons with the coon cuff.
He will tell you he ain't no trapologist.
So we gotta get John another coon cuff,
Yeah.
and he's gonna put an airline cable on it this time.
Yeah. I've never heard of a coon cuff. Do we have one around somewhere?
Not in the shop.
But not in the house.
No, not out here. A coon cuff, natural. You can go to our website, www.bigbearhomestead.com, and go to the trapping supply section. We do sell them, and you can see it there. But basically, it is a trap to catch raccoons, possums. I heard even skunks. That is what they call target specific. It will not catch a dog. It will not catch a cat. It won't catch a bobcat. It won't catch it won't catch any canines or felines.
Right. And it looks like a metal cylinder, almost like a toilet paper tube, but metal. And then inside of it, there's a little, like inside the tube, there's a little trigger that's on the inside. That's just a little metal rod. And some of them are push-pull. Some of them are just pull.
The Freedom brand is a push-pull. Now, for the homesteaders, I tell them, look, the Freedom brand does cost a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
But for the homesteader that's never really set a trap before, the Freedom brand coon cuff is the perfect one.
It's worth the extra money.
Especially
like for people like me who don't have the strength to squeeze that trigger like that or to set it. With the Freedom brand, you can actually just step on it and it'll set.
Yeah.
So that works out really nice too.
Yeah. So with that being said, if you can order them from us. You order them from us, and if you want me to set them up, put an anchoring system on it, I can for you. It just adds like $5 or $6 to the price, and per trap, and that basically covering my cost of the airline cable and the crimps, and
what is the air hose? Airline cable. That's the cable that. It's like metal, real high tensile strength cable, and then it's got a plastic coating around it. And the reason why he uses that is he anchors it to the trap and then puts a loop on the end of it so that then he can fish it through and make it, anchor to a tree.
Okay, pretend this is airline cable, okay? Let's go to the Mr. Rogers land of make-believe. And I know I'm not wearing a sweater. but let's just pretend I'm Mr. Rogers right now. Okay? So
I'm okay with the dancing bear dancing on my head. It's okay.
Come on, Marine, tie a knot. That's what Mama's saying. Mm-hmm. Okay. You have one loop, okay? And then on the other, this is the end that's connected to the trap, okay? Boop, boop, boop. Okay? So you wrap it around a tree.
I'm the tree.
Mama's the tree, okay? And then you take the trap and you run it through this loop like such. Okay? And then it will cinch down
Go ahead.
on the tree. I probably should have thought that through a little bit better. Sorry. Okay, so now where the raccoon goes,
He only has so far.
he only has so far, because if he pulls tighter this way, it's just going to go tighter around the tree. If he tries to go anywhere, he's only going as far as much as he got left.
Right.
You guys got that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what, so that's what it's there for. And it makes it super convenient because it's a lot easier to set the trap. Because then you don't have to worry about driving anything into the ground or carrying heavy, drag. Like a, what do you use? Sometimes use like an old brake drum or something like that. Something heavy.
Well,
Then you don't
I
have
use
to
that for
carry 'em.
drowners, but yeah.
Whatever, yeah. So, with this, it makes it very simple. All you got to do is wrap it around the tree, feed it through, and stick it in the ground, and you're done. So
Call it done.
Yeah.
You can set about 20 or 30 coon cuffs in less than 30 minutes.
yeah, very simple.
Very simple, especially if you're using the Freedom brand.
Takes more time to bait it than it does to set it.
Yep.
So,
True.
yeah.
Keto Country Homestead.
Hello, hello.
So, I see Green Dream
Yes, it's raining here.
is in here.
Yep.
So, did we tell him we were like that close to doing a rebuttal video when he was doing all the Star Wars jokes?
I don't remember. I mean, I remember it, but I don't remember what we were gonna say. But I remember laughing my butt off listening to his videos. It had something to do with the Force, didn't it? Yeah.
Oh, my the dark side.
Yeah, he made me laugh so hard.
What's about his channel? What's even?
He's like, whoop.
What's so funny is he's over there cutting up, and his wife is like super serious because she's got a whole bunch of information that she wants to share, and he starts cutting up. And you can tell she gets a little frustrated with, kind of like how you're looking right about now. What did Steve send us?
I don't
Picture.
know. Sent you a picture of the cuff I bought.
Oh, okay.
I think that's what makes us laugh is when we have people that it looks very similar to us.
This is a coon cuff.
There you go. That's perfect right there.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
That's what it would look like coming to you. Now, this is a Duke coon cuff.
A little bit different.
Now, this is not the Freedom brand, but this is the Duke coon cuff. That's with the airline cable. And that's the trap. So that would be the, wow, it is coming down out there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, Nature's Basics is now like, okay, now I understand.
And so, and look, it's that time of year. That's the only reason why that I'm talking about it now. Is because we're at that time of year. January, February, March, you're going to start to see a lot more predator activity around your homestead because food is scarce.
Yeah.
Food is scarce. There's no more wild blackberries. There's no more muscadines. There's no more wild strawberries. You know, there's no more pecans, walnuts, acorns, stuff like that for them to eat. So they are literally going around. If they are they can flip over a rock and find a crawfish sleeping, or if they can dig into there. Not with fruit on them. They'll dig into there and eat those.
Yeah.
You know, they may find a wild mussel or two, but they are out scavenging hard. Especially in the south. We don't get cold enough for them to take a nap. Okay, raccoons don't usually hibernate anyway, but sometimes up in the cold north, they do go for a couple of weeks without eating. They will lay down and just curl up, especially when a cold snap's coming through. But right now, down in the south, our area used to have over 100 birds. I
don't have anything right now, but I'm getting some belly feathers this summer. I'll tell you, we had the same issue, but with raptors, and that's why we did. Like last year, we did not do very well with chickens because we just didn't want to go through the heartbreak again, because at one point we had over 200, and by the end of the year we had like 4, and it was heart wrenching. So
Jody, this same trap can work for possums as it does for coons.
yeah, same manner.
Look, here's the raw truth, the raw hardcore fact. Okay, the possum and the coon eat a lot of the same things, except for a possum is more omnivore than a coon, so he will eat. He will scavenge and he will eat dead animals, and he also walks and travels a lot further looking for food because he is more of a scavenger. But I can catch a possum with an empty cage. No bait. I can catch a coon that way too, but plain fact of the matter is they're both out right now looking. Okay? So you definitely got to make sure you put them up, lock them down, and do every preventative thing. Every preventative thing that you can.
Yep.
Okay, so we're going to open it up for questions. Questions can be about anything. Essential oils, more about raccoons, more about possums, canines, anything predator control related, anything homesteading related.
Stray dogs are my main predator, and I've had my son take care of those. My buzzards are doing really well here.
Yep.
How do you get the coons in the trap and keep cats out? Cats won't.
Okay, if you're talking about the coon cuff, the cats can't get in. They can't be caught by the coon cuff. If you're talking about a cage, you got to keep the cat up.
Yep. Yeah, you can't.
Now, one of the things that you could do, now, if you got just an outdoor cat, as long as he's not super curious, you could take that cage to a car wash and wash it. Spray it down real good. Wash it really, really well. Let it hang out to dry. Get all of the cat food smell. Get all of the sardine smell, honey bun smell. Get all of that stuff off of it. Get you a golf ball. Wrap it in aluminum foil. And put it in the back of the cage. Then take you a stick and slide it right in front of your pan. That's going to close the door. You put your stick right there in front of it. Okay? Now, then go get you some anise extract.
Or you wouldn't just put regular licorice down in there?
No, because I don't want the cat to get out.
No.
Because the cats are visual too.
Oh.
So if the cat for some reason is attracted to that smell and he sees the licorice, he'll go in
He'll
there.
go and get it.
But if he's just walking by and he smells it and he just sees a shiny ball in there, he's going to keep
He's
walking.
gonna keep going. Okay.
9 times out of 10, anyway. Unless you just got a real curious cat.
Mommy's tired, Daddy.
But you do that because cats are not usually attracted to the anise oil where raccoons are because it smells like black licorice. And the golf ball wrapped in aluminum foil is to pique his curiosity.
Good night, Rainbow Valley. Y'all have a good evening. Thanks for coming by.
Now, don't say the fat guy didn't warn you here. You may come out in the morning. The raccoon is on the outside of the cage. Hands slip through the cage, holding said golf ball and not letting it go.
Yeah.
See, back in the day before they had coon cuffs and back during the Great Depression, some folks couldn't afford traps. My grandfather was one of them. And he used to walk a barn and hang washers on the inside of the barn with a hole drilled through so they could see the washer. And he would come back in the morning, clubbing coons.
Yeah.
Because they would have their hands in there and they would grab a hold of it and their hand fit in like this because their hand could collapse down. But as soon as they grabbed a hold of something,
tried to pull it out.
It wouldn't come out. And then all I had to do was let go. But they wouldn't let go.
You see, Acme products are more effective on coyotes. That was funny.
So please put all your questions in caps. Also, it says I'm still here. I'm just listening in. So, while we're waiting on a question, I was lurking in old Cab 7's live stream tonight. And he was another good good live stream of his. He is Cab 7's all about promoting community and all about promoting love. You can't go to his live stream, come out and not feel good.
And not feel good about humanity.
Yeah. How does coon taste? Let's see. Barbecued, it is great.
Never had it.
But it has to be cooked slow because they're very fatty. So if you cook it too fast, it becomes tough, and then it does become nasty. Okay. Jason, what do you do for coyotes? We trap them. I use the MB550, and I have 3 or 4 different types of sets that I set in them, and then we dispatch them. What would you recommend for coyote control? We also have dogs to protect. I strongly suggest the Minnesota brand MB550 foothold trap. It will have to have an anchoring system on it. And then learn how to set dirt holes, flat sets, and some step down, some different types of sets. Invest in some lure and some bait, and you'll have to set that way. A coyote by himself is very timid. 2 coyotes are timid. When you start getting 3 and more, they start getting a little braver. And they are definitely a pack mentality animal. So the more that you have in the pack, the more dangerous they become. One coyote by himself will usually not attack a dog, a full-size dog, unless it's a tiny dog, like a Chihuahua or something, because then to him that's not really a dog, that's just dinner. But a dog like Apollo or a Lab or anything like that, one coyote, a pit bull, one or even two coyotes won't jump on, because when you got two coyotes, they're not extremely loyal to each other. So if the one's getting his tail whooped, the other one may sit over there and watch, and he'll keep his distance. Okay, hold on.
I pelted a coon.
Oh, no. Okay. Mojave feeding Is there a source for using oils in the gardening and on animals? Yes, right here. How much do you...
How do you know how much to plant?
You don't. There's no mathematical equation that you could say that, okay, I'm going to need 57 tomato plants and I should be good. I always tell everybody that each tomato plant itself is going to yield differently. Take how many you think you're going to need. Take a good rough estimate, depending on the variety of, not species, but variety of tomato that you have. They should be able to tell you about how many bushels or how many pounds it should yield. Go off of that, but then always plant 2 or 3 extra plants just to be sure.
And for the record, you're right that there are varieties of tomato. However, there's different species of plant. So technically, I was right. Just saying.
I pelted a coon, but how do I tan it? You can brain tan it. You can...
Hey, Kaylee.
You can do what they call a chemical tan. You can order a tanning solution. Brain tan, I always tell somebody the very first time you tan something, brain tan it. Go back to the old way and brain tan it. Because each animal has enough of the tanning stuff in its brain to tan its own hide. And so all you need is the warm water, the brains. You mash them up in there. And then you pick some, and then you rub it on there.
That's tasty.
Yeah, it is. What's the world record weight on a coon? I have no idea.
No idea. I'm sure it's pretty big.
Oh, I bet they make a lot of noise.
Mm-hmm.
Suburban.
Raccoon.
What was that? What?
I don't know.
A coon is the saying, greasy and smells awful when you're cooking it. Boom, boom. Hey, Big Bear. Hey, Shay. My land where I can garden at the top it's level and flat, but goes down slowly. But I was wondering, what's the best way to plant? Like sideways or
level going down?
Level going down. That's a personal choice. Either which way would work really well. There would be more work into making the steps and step down your garden to go down. But doing it that way, you probably would also... What am I saying?
Nothing.
What's more?
I'm just trying to get comfortable.
Okay. You won't? Okay.
No, okay.
You'll get more area to grow by starting at the top, coming out, stepping down, building a ledge, coming out, stepping down, building a ledge, coming out, coming down, building a ledge.
Yeah, because what I'm thinking, like if you're on a hill, either way you plant, if you plant this way or you plant this way, if you have any rain and the rain goes, obviously goes downhill, you're either going to have the stuff that needs the most water at the bottom would probably be the most, like if you weren't going to do steps, that would be what I would do, because I wouldn't do it this way, because if you do it this way, this plant down at the bottom is going to get soaked.
Right.
So
Anita says we have packs like 6+. Our concerns with cattle. I wouldn't worry about the cattle so much as I would calves. 6 is a relatively high number, but it's still not a big enough number to take down a full-blown cow. We've got them packed thicker than that, and they don't mess with our cows. But get a donkey is definitely a thing. Don't want
the dog to get into the trap. Are the sets you mentioned the way to keep the dogs out?
No. You'd have to keep the dog on a leash. You'd have to keep the dog away from that area, because a canine is a canine is a canine. The same stuff that you're going to use to attract that coyote there will attract your domesticated dog.
I know that works, but you're not up to me when it's mom's cattle. It's not up to me when it's mom's cattle. That's true.
That's true.
Yeah, that's tough. Best way to eliminate rats in a barn.
T-Rex rat traps.
And find a good way to seal up your feed.
Mm-hmm.
If you've got feed, that's the big thing, is trying to secure your feed so that they're not getting into it.
And if it's your hay barn, it's always going to be a constant battle.
Yeah.
I would probably order 2-3 dozen T-Rex rat traps from us. Very easy to bait, very easy to set.
Yeah.
Michael Pratt from Pratt Family, they ordered a bunch, and they had a huge rat problem in their barn, and they wore them out with those traps.
Yeah. Plant crossways to the slope of the hill to prevent erosion. World record for the coon is 50 pounds.
Nice.
Coyotes are horrible here. I've seen them in a place where I heard them across the pasture. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Not good.
Yeah. You got to be careful with the walnut hulls, though. That they can make the hair slip. Now, if you're trying to get the hair off, I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah. Maybe terrace the hill. Yeah, terrace gardening, terrace and swales. Getting a serious delay. It'd also make it attractive, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the calves that they're worried about. Yeah.
What's up, Jay? Bullfrog Swamp Homestead, what's going on? Got more wild dogs here than coyotes. We kind of got the same problem, or we used to have the same problem. Our law lets us shoot them, so it's good to go.
Dogs going wild are the worst ones, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Right,
Well, thank you, Green Dream.
Yeah, the dogs, feral dogs are the worst, because especially when they breed with coyote and then you have a coy dog, and that's probably the worst, because they have the ferocity of a coyote, but they're somewhat domesticated like like a dog.
Yeah. Look, we participated in a study a few years back where we had to catch coyotes, draw blood, tag them, and let them go. And what they were doing is they were trying to figure out, was there any true coyotes anymore?
Mm-hmm.
Because see, what has happened is coyotes started coming west, whether it was through the help of humans or just the straight population.
Yeah.
That's the reason why you don't see a lot of red wolves anymore. Red wolves are a smaller breed of wolf, but they are a little bit larger than coyotes, but they will interbreed.
Mm-hmm.
And so what a lot of people, the study proved was that the red wolf itself is pretty much gone. Just like a true-blooded coyote is pretty much gone.
Yeah.
They are all hybrids. They're either got red wolf and coyote mixed, or they got domesticated dog, red wolf and coyote mixed. We did it to ourselves. And the problem when, and look, here's my stance. This is how I feel. This is what I believe. I've lost friends because of this. If you drop off a dog down a country road
And leave it,
you should be fined, but you should do
jail time.
hard time. And if your dog that you dropped off does any damage, kills any livestock, kills a kid, gets into a pack and kills a kid,
Yeah.
you should be held liable for that crime and the damages.
Yep.
I think that is the worst possible. You are the lowest of low human beings. I don't care how broke you are. All you have to do, there's always somebody looking for a dog. All you have to do is post, and with social medias today,
Oh yeah.
there should be no reason why there are feral domesticated dogs running around.
No.
All it is pure T 100% laziness. And if I ever see you do it and I catch you, you are going to tote a
Suffice it to say, he won't be happy, and you'll know it.
You don't want to meet me and be on that end of the stick. That's all I'm going to say. Because in my state, a fellow trapper was killed by a pack of domesticated dogs coming out of a beaver swamp.
Yeah.
He was dragging beavers. And he tossed them the beavers and went running for the truck. And they still caught him and mauled him and killed him. I almost lost Ladessa to a pack of feral domesticated dogs. If my son would have hesitated and said, why? When I told him, go get my rifle now. If he would have paused a second, Ladessa would probably not be alive.
Because at that point in time, she was super small. I mean, she's still small, but she was super small. When we first got up here, she was, I mean, she's 11 now, and we've been here for 5 years, so she was 6. And she was not the average size of it. She wasn't an average 6-year-old size. She was probably more like 4. And so the dogs, I mean, they were big dogs. There was a chow and a shepherd.
And a lab.
Yeah. And I mean, they were bigger dogs. So, the idea, and then the other thing too, was that Ladessa, even being 6 years old, told to get down, listening was the other part of it too, is making sure that she did exactly what she was told. So, I saw somebody up there that said they had a parenting question that I haven't seen yet.
So go ahead and ask your parenting question. And I'm sorry I got kind of fired up about that, but that's just one of the... There's a few things that really get me fired up, get me like fighting mad, that I will snatch you out of your car and give you a...
And they'll do that here. They in Georgia, like they just recently, and Sub knows this, in Atlanta, they caught a guy because they have all of the cameras on the roads, and they found him, fined him, took him to jail, the whole 9 yards. So
Yeah.
there was a young mother killed here from a pack of dogs that came into her yard.
Because remember, that's what I try to tell everybody. A canine is a canine is a canine. My mama is the worst for this. She sees a stray dog, she wants to start feeding it. And I'm like, Mama, please stop.
Because you're bringing that dog right onto your porch.
Because a canine is a canine is a canine. Mm-hmm. Now, granted, she does it at her job when she sees it, and she'll leave the food out, and she works for a long time with it to earn the dog's trust. And my Mama, you just need to call the professionals and let them do it, because you don't know what this dog is, and you don't know if there's other ones sitting around waiting.
Right.
And so it's, but my Mama, I love her. So
It's your mama.
see my Mama. So what's the first thing you want to plant for your gardens? I am crazy ready for cabbage.
I'm excited about the Brussels sprouts. I want to see.
They're looking good.
Yeah, I really want to see the Brussels sprouts succeed. And I really want to start, because we got to start another batch. I want to start the red ones. Because I'd love to see the red Brussels sprouts. Because I'm really like little lettuce brains. So. I love. Now, we already have sugar snap peas in the raised beds out there, and we have spinach, and the spinach is doing pretty well. So we'll definitely be able to eat some of that pretty soon. And we just gotta mulch it. It needs to be mulched.
Yeah.
But we've got those now, and then we've got broccoli and cauliflower doing really well too. So we're getting ready to move all that out and start another batch, and that's where the cabbage comes in. You're ready to start the cabbage.
Yeah. Who posted the parenting? They had a parenting question.
I don't know.
Go ahead and ask it. I love to give parenting advice. Of course, mine's usually all wrong all the time anyway.
Can't wait for potatoes. We had such a bad run-in with potatoes last year. I don't even want to do potatoes. I mean, we're going to, but we had such a bad...
That was just bad seed potatoes.
I know it was bad seed
I
potatoes.
called that when we were
still.
planting them. Remember?
Uh-huh. Well, for you, Teresa, it is. Too early to do planting yet. For us, it isn't.
Yeah. All right, Mary Beth.
Bye, Mary Beth. Have a good night. Hello.
Stopping in to show some love. All right,
Yes.
thank you.
Hello.
Hello, Ellen.
Yeah, I know Sub deals with a lot because she does a lot of fostering and stuff, and so she gets to see the really bad side of all of that.
Oh, Little Creek, you missed a bunch. We were talking all bad. We were talking all kinds of ways about you, though, too. So,
but we were sitting down today trying to make out our list.
that was stressful.
So we talked about, like, carrots and what else? I'm growing chickens.
And look, you can hear it. Ours is our soil cannot hold. Our ground cannot hold any more water. It's automatically puddling up. We've had more rain in the last.
Oh. I posted the parenting question above. Can you post it again? Because I didn't see it.
Yeah, we didn't get to see it, buddy. Can you post it again? And yeah, that's what you're hearing.
Yep,
That's raining.
Exactly.
Yeah. Put it in all caps too, please. And so I don't know. Yeah, I'm praising God we made the decision to go raise beds this year because
Yeah.
I don't know how.
And the bad thing is we were thinking about turning the pigs before we did all this. We were thinking about turning the pigs loose on there. And from the experience, the very first year we had where we did that, what happened is they turned up the land, but then all of a sudden it gets dry real quick, and then it's the hardest soil you have ever dealt with. So that was one of the things. I'm glad that we're doing beds so that we don't have to worry about all that.
So
Y'all have to excuse me. I woke up really early this morning.
we've got a video coming out this week on cold frames. Cold frames. Our video is coming out on cold frames this week. And we may have a couple of surprise, excited videos for you guys this week.
Also, I'll post. I
post?
have a blog that will be released in the morning. So.
Yeah. Make sure you got your tissues with you.
Why do you have to tell people that?
It's
It's
public,
not that
that's
bad.
a public service announcement.
It's not that bad.
She pulling on the heartstrings.
Jason said, I wonder if people go, oh, Robyn posted another blog. Let me get my Kleenex real quick.
Are we on live chat? Because I have not seen that question come back yet.
Yeah,
Yeah. So,
I know.
what's up, Common Sense? Don't give a degree. Your prize will be going out on Monday morning.
We had a lot of stuff we had to send out.
We were going to try to get it out today, but
It was just so wet and nasty.
it was kind of
Really,
defeating
really
us.
nasty. Yeah.
So, I really want to up gardening adventure. Hello, how are you doing?
Weasel and blacktail tip move in. Decided it's not moving out. I'll have to put. Why did I not notice until now you're wearing bat pants?
Okay, if you've got a weasel, keep the rat traps out, put them in a weasel box, and
You'll catch them.
you'll catch them. But I'm sorry, not mouse traps, rat traps.
Rat trap.
And you need to catch him quick because he will kill everything. A weasel will kill just to kill. He's
Just
like
for
an
the fun.
Italian mafia hit guy. He just kills just for the fun of it.
Just slide it on the ice. I think it might just make it up here. Good
Good.
night, Green Dream.
Good night, Green Dream.
You're so silly.
I know. May the force be with you, Green Dream. No, I've never heard of an otter killing just to kill. An otter just has a ferocious appetite.
Oh, wow. Our cats just killed the weasel and left it in the front yard.
Okay, Nature Biz, I have
Basics.
no idea what your question was. It never came up. Okay, I have a question about parenting. How do you handle telling your children to not be so open about your self-reliant lifestyle?
I don't want to promote lying, but I don't want problems.
Okay.
That's hard.
Okay.
I'm going to scroll back up. Just while
Well,
you're
Steve
doing
said he couldn't find it. When we decided to do this,
that. Mm-hmm.
we had a family meeting. And Blaze was
8, 9. Yeah. Something like that.
And we talked about it. And that's one of the things, and people tell me I'm wrong for this sometimes, but I never kept anything. I don't keep anything from my kids.
Mm-mm.
If we're in a financial rough spot, we'll have a family meeting and we'll talk about it.
Right.
I won't hide it from them. Robyn and I don't hold back. We even argue in front of them. And my thought process to that is if they don't see mommy and daddy argue and fuss, because nobody ever gets along 100% of the time, how are they going to see mommy and daddy work through it and compromise and come together?
Well, not just that, but then they have unrealistic expectations of a
Of a
relationship. Like,
yeah.
the first time they have a big knockdown, drag out that they got to work through, they may be like, well, my parents never fought like that. We must be doing something wrong.
Yeah.
You know, hey, Josh, what's up?
And we sat them down and said, look, things out there in the world is scary.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? We don't need to go around telling
Everybody what we do.
your friends that
What we
we've
have.
got, 6 years worth of canned vegetables that we grew
Yeah. Exactly.
up to everybody.
Right.
So have those conversations with your kids. Don't hide stuff from them.
And have them encourage them to be creative, like, to kind of explain to them that this isn't something that you just throw out to everybody for everybody
Right.
to know,
You don't want, and then you start, tell them, look, because if too many people know,
You just told 10,000 people. Oh, gosh. I have a 15-year-old boy. Okay. He doesn't care about nothing. Been there. Okay. We teach our girls that privacy is key. What we have is just for us to know. There you go. Life is hard. It isn't fair. And they need to learn who they can trust.
right?
But the problem is for a 9, 10-year-old,
I
whatever,
don't care about discipline.
to get them to understand truly trusting people. I mean, that's hard for that age to understand that. That's like I was explaining the other night about Carol being on Livestream and talking to some people outside the Livestream. They naturally trust, they're at that age, they naturally trust that people are supposed to be doing what they're supposed to be doing. And it's hard sometimes to explain to them the concept of trusting somebody. So I've tried everything, no common sense. That sounds like Blaze. I mean,
You are battling the exact same battle that we had with Blaze.
whooped his butt, taking stuff from him, work. Yep.
Yep.
Been there.
Been there.
Been there.
Been there. And it taught it to be, and I pray this doesn't happen to you. I really do. But it took Blaze getting in that car wreck
And
to snatch him.
Right, and almost having his own life taken away from him.
Yeah.
I mean, lies, yeah.
Yeah. You can't teach common sense,
No.
unfortunately. All you can do is never stop being their parent. Never ever stop. And don't let up. Don't change your line in the sand because his give a crap meter is broken.
Right.
Keep taking the stuff away. Keep whooping his tail. Keep working him to death.
What I was going to say is just be consistent. Don't, flip-flop. If you're going to be on him, be on him. Don't, and let it go and then try to come back. And you have to be consistent.
Mm-hmm. Because, look, Blaze lost his biological father. I am not Blaze's biological father.
Yeah, don't try to be his friend.
Blaze lost his when he was 11.
Mm-hmm. We lost him long before that, but physically lost him at 11.
And so we took Blaze to a counselor. The counselor pulled me off to the side. And he said, "You're dad. I've been talking to him for a couple of weeks now. Brian was Brian, but you are dad."
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be a boy. He's going to be a typical kid, and he's going to try to use the fact that Brian died to his advantage. And he's going to try to play on heartstrings. He's going to try to do the poor, poor, pitiful me.
Right.
He said, you stay on top of him with your thumb on top of his head and don't let up. I said, okay, you're smarter than me. And so I didn't give Blaze an ounce of slack.
But now, at the same time, we did expect, and for the first couple of years, we would notice right about when it was starting to ramp up to the time when he passed away, we would notice his behavior change. And we knew, now we didn't like let up on him, but we knew what we were dealing with. We knew what ghost we were fighting. You know.
And look, man, I was at the end of my rope numerous times.
You were,
and it caused major issues with Robyn and I sometimes because I was ready to take him out and say, let's just start over.
He's 15, Teresa.
And Robyn would come and do like how she does sometimes. And I always felt, why are you always taking up for him? Why can't you just see? And it took us going, this is our line. You do this, this happens. And we sat him down. Look, you're in 100% control. You have all the power. You do this, then this happens. If you don't like that happening, then don't do this. Because that's not going to change. If you get caught being on your phone, when we tell you not to be on your phone, you're losing your phone and you're doing this. You're going to go out and move a pile of dirt around the farm until I get tired of watching you do it. And then you're going to take it back to the original spot. I'll find something for you to do.
Right.
So, you don't want to move dirt? You don't want to lose your phone? Then you don't be on it when I tell you not to be. And it's just that simple. I took my emotion completely out of it. I quit letting it bother me.
And that was the key. That was the key. It was once you stopped taking it personal. Because what it boiled down to is a lot of that is like what Teresa was saying. It's just that age and that struggle, because when they hit about 15 and they're full-fledged past puberty and just, they're wanting to be the guy, the man.
Hold on a second. She said, and I missed it and it went too bad. Husband is home 1 week in a month and he wants
to send him somewhere.
Okay, one of the things that you're battling right now is your son is trying to be the alpha.
Yeah.
Because the true alpha is not home.
Right.
So, when it comes to that phone, don't hide it anymore. Throw it in a pond. Because I'm betting you, more than likely, you pay for it. I have taken phones that I've paid for that were Blazes and stuck them in my vise and crushed them. I've taken a 30-06 to a PlayStation. Because we would take the power cord. And he would scrounge around the house
find another
power cord that could work so he could play it. Well, he can't play it once I put a bullet through it.
Yep.
I made him watch me put a bullet through it. Because at the end of the day, you bought that stuff. You're paying for that stuff. If you want to destroy it, that's on you.
Beat that sucker with a hammer. He found the pieces and put it back together.
Burn it. Burn it, and you didn't beat that phone hard enough.
Robyn's still a better shot. No, not really. Yeah, no, that's what it boils down to is just you're fighting, and that's exactly what it is. You're fighting. He is now feels old enough that he should be in charge, kind of thing, and there's that power struggle. And, 15-year-olds think they know everything anyway.
Yep.
So you're fighting that as well. This is all biology. And that was one of the things when Jason figured out that it wasn't personal, because that's one of those struggles when it's not your child. There's always that little latent amount of, well, maybe he just, he don't want me to be his dad or whatever. And so he would take it personally a lot of times. Like, Blaze is intentionally doing this to tick me off. And it wasn't. It was just that he's that age and he's being a bag. So.
And look, right now, like with Blaze is in a power job. He is a jailer. So he's telling fools that are my age what to do. He's telling them when they can go to the bathroom, when to go to sleep, this, that, and the other thing. So he gets kind of pumped up on this power.
We have to remind him at the door.
And every now and then, I grab him and I wrestle with him. And it frustrates the crap out of him because, one, he didn't know how the fat man got him in that hole that fast, and he don't know how to get out of it. Mm-hmm. And I whisper every time I get him. I make sure I get him in some type of hold that I can talk in that ear. And I'll grab him, and I'll say something like, "Don't let the white in the beard fool you. Mm-hmm. I'm still the alpha. I haven't missed on my hunt yet.
I'm always gonna be in this house." And we even had to do that with him, believe it or not, when he was 9, 10, and he would go off to visit my ex. When he came back, because the rules were totally different. Mm-hmm. There were no rules there. And so he would be all weekend with no rules and just doing his own thing. He'd come walk across the threshold expecting the same thing at our house. And we'd have to say, no. Do you remember where you are?
Let me remind you.
Let me remind you.
Push.
So.
But I've always been, and this, and look, I'll be the first to admit, I have made some major parenting mistakes. And I'm going to continue to make major parenting mistakes. One of my biggest mistakes that I made with Blaze, and this is going to sound funny, but I was too active as a parent. I was too active. And it was because his biological dad didn't want to do a damn thing. Mm-mm. Blaze was interested in T-ball, and I screwed the pooch on that one. Oh, man, did I screw that one up. But his bio dad signed him up for it and was like, he was using that as a babysitter. And so I had to go pick him up one day. I like baseball. And so I got to talking with the coaches and everything, and they're like, "Why don't you come help us coach? We're outnumbered." I was like, "All right, cool. Yeah, I'd love to." And so I was there, and Blaze was playing first base. I was out in the outfield with the other kids. This kid hit a shot off of the tee, and all week Blaze and I have been working about him catching the ball and then throwing it. Catching the ball, then throwing it. Catching the ball, then throwing it. Blaze was on first. There was a kid on third. This kid hits a shot. Blaze just reached out, caught it, brought it in, boom, threw it to home. Of course, there wasn't anybody there. I come out of left field. Yeah! And I gave him a good game right on his butt. I was so excited I picked him up about 3 feet.
Well, and he's small. He's still small.
Yeah.
So he was small then. And, I mean, it was enough that it lifted him right up off the ground.
I was like, that away, baby, that away. I mean, and Blaze was like, if that was what I was supposed to do, then why the hell did I just get a spanking?
Yep, that's exactly what he thought.
Didn't play next year.
No, didn't want to play the next year. News done.
I'm good. No, I don't want to play.
Yeah. But.
And then we did scouts. Mm-hmm. And the troop that he got assigned, man, it was a lazy. It was a mess. It was a lazy troop.
Yeah.
Well, he was coming home all discouraged and all of that, and I said, "Well, do you want me to get involved? You want me to come?" And and he was like, "Sure." Then I became the scout master, and we started doing all kinds of things. And then, of course, I am who I am. I am not handing you the path to Eagle if you don't know the freaking scout oath or the scout law.
Yep.
I will fail your Scoutmasters conference every single time.
Yep. As you should, in my opinion. And
we kind of got kicked out of the troop. The council got involved and said that I can't constantly fail somebody at the Scoutmasters conference. And I'm like, I'm a scout. I made it all the way to heart. Life. Made it to life.
Yeah.
It's not heart. It's life. It's a heart badge. Life. I turned 18 because I didn't start Scouts until I was 13. I was already 2 years behind. And back in my day, you just didn't do the work and got promoted, do the work, got promoted. Yeah. You had time periods that you had to wait.
And they don't have
there was no 14-year-old getting his freaking eagle. But don't get me on that horse either.
Anyway,
but yeah. I got too active in Blaze's life, and it caused a little something. He got to the point where he felt that he couldn't breathe.
Yeah. Kid is destructive. Been there too.
Hey, look, here's the thing. He's got grandparents, right? People send him money for his birthday. Let him be destructive. You check the mail. Oh, look, it's a birthday card.
Oh, no.
Open it up. Take out the birthday money. Boom. If he has a job, make him start to pay for the stuff. Yeah. Blaze was notorious for taking my tools and leaving them outside and then forgetting where he left them. That stopped the moment he got a job. And he would come in and goes, I got my first paycheck. And I went, tsh, tsh. Yeah, you can buy a couple of my tools back with this, bruh.
Or even like Steve was saying, if he doesn't have any money coming in, the more stuff he destroys, the emptier his bedroom gets.
Exactly.
I mean, you just got to be creative.
Yep.
Unfortunately, like she was saying earlier, nothing fazed him. Blaze is the same way. Even when he was young, we could not put him just sitting at the table when he was younger, because he would have a whole story made up in his head within the first 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And he was up in La La Land somewhere, so that didn't bother him,
He's cutting TV screens and ripping holes in a sofa. Get him an axe. Find a sweet gum tree.
There you go. Been there, too. Can't keep a set of sheets on his bed.
And there is something with this generation. I don't know if it was a shot that they got at the hospital, but Blaze can't sleep with sheets on his bed. Drives me nuts. I said, and I tell him, you're going to have sheets on your bed as long as you in the bed in my house. But it's a fight. He's 20 years old, and it's still a fight for him to put sheets on the bed. Well, once he goes out, he doesn't have to sleep on sheets, and he probably won't.
Yeah.
But look, that was one of the things. I found some good old-fashioned oaks and sweet gums. Mm-hmm. And gave him an axe. And, just between me and you, wasn't the sharpest axe in the world either. Mm-mm. And he couldn't do anything
until it was done.
Yep. That tree had to be on the ground. His sisters would bring him his lunch on a paper plate.
Yep.
And he would get water for a drink. No tea, no Coke, nothing. No. That's where he was. When the sun went down, he came in, took a bath, went to bed.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. By the time when he was out there, when Blaze came inside, the only thing that was in his room was that mattress. There was no frame on the bed or anything. Mm-mm. And there was no door either.
We took the door off too. There you go. He ruins the furniture. He sits on an orange crate.
That's one of those things.
Yeah.
Look, some people say I'm hardcore borderline child abuse, but I don't play. You're not going to come into my house and destroy my couch or destroy my TV. That's fine. Do that. Your grandparents, or you just got a bicycle for your new birthday. Whoop, it just got sold to replace the TV. Mm-hmm. And I have gone toe-to-toe with defects because somebody got in our business because Blaze wasn't washing his hair, and so I shaved his head. And I went toe-to-toe.
You didn't shave his head. You took him somewhere and paid for somebody to cut his hair.
That's true.
But that's what I'm saying is, this was not like, some crazy man took a lawnmower to his head. We took him somewhere, paid for someone to cut his hair. It was a legitimate haircut. He just wasn't cleaning it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the thing that shut them up, is that when they were like, well, you can't punish him by cutting his hair. And Jason's like, it wasn't a punishment. You don't understand. If I didn't cut it, you and I would be having a totally different conversation, because then it would be borderline neglect, because his hair was filthy.
Yeah.
Filthy.
So
if he's not going to keep it clean, cut it off.
I looked at the lady and I said, we have 2 conversations that we can have.
Mm-hmm.
Since you want to jump up and down because I had his head shaved. You want to have a question and you want to call it child abuse that I shaved his head? Or do you want to have a discussion on how if I didn't shave his head, I'd be still sitting in front of you because he done got lice or he done got sick because his hair was all nasty?
Yep.
And which one you want to have?
Yep.
Because either which way, I win, you lose. And so it's one of those things that everybody gets so afraid of child services and everybody gets so afraid of defects. I go look, it is my child, not yours. And you can't tell me how to raise my kid. Now, if my kid is showing up with a bunch of bruises and black eyes,
absolutely,
then absolutely. If my kid is showing up and he's super skinny and is not eating, and when you do give him a sandwich, he wolfs it down real fast, or he's got cuts and scrapes and stuff on him and obvious abuse, then yeah, you can jump in.
Yeah.
But because I made my kid do 25 push-ups because he didn't do what I told him to, you can get out of my face. Mm-hmm. You know, because I took my son to the wood shop and I took my piece of leather that helps hold up my pants to his bottom.
Yeah.
Because he balled his fist up at his mama. Get out of my face.
Yeah.
Because my kid works in a jail now. He's not in jail. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah. And I think that's what is making the relationship better as it progresses, because he's starting to see that the stuff that we enforced and the stuff that we made sure that he learned, that now he's starting to understand, because he'll even tell my daughters, look, learn from me now. I'm telling you this is right. Like, I'm seeing it now. Mm-hmm. Don't slack off. Do what you're supposed to do, you know? So,
you know, you hear all the cliche things about hunt with your kids now, hunt with them in the woods instead of hunting for them on the street, you know, and all of these things. But look, at the end of the day, you're not their friend. You're not. You're their parent. Huge difference. You can be their friend when they're in their 30s. Because even when they're in their 20s, they still have their motard moments. And you've got to go bail them out.
I totally agree with that. A wise man told me years ago that boys get their heads on straight at 26. I've told Jason and Blaze both that I don't think the male brain is completely formed until about that time. Lazy Acre says, done that. I've been the hairdresser that shaved the kid's head. Right there with the parent telling the kid, yep, you should have listened to your parents. I'm a tough parent too. Yeah. So, yeah, the older they get, the smarter their parents become. And that's true. I mean, that's, you know, one of the things when Jason and I were first starting to deal with this stuff with Blaze, Jason would call his dad, and his dad would just die laughing because he's like, it's unfortunate, but it's just a part of dealing with a teenage boy. About 11-year-old, they take their brain out and they put it on a shelf, and they don't take it back till they're in their 20s.
Or till something drastic happens that scares the bejeebus out of them.
Right. Now, Blaze has always been way more mature than his age, for the most part, as far as intelligence and things like that. But at the end of the day, yeah, he was. He was.
Okay, so it's intelligent to read highly flammable on the side of a can.
That was just being fun and curious. That has nothing to do with maturity. That's just curiosity. And there was nobody up there for him to have the conversation with and go, I wonder how. He was up there by himself. I mean, anybody left to their own devices is gonna be like, I wonder.
Yeah. But nature's
basics.
Nature's basics.
If I'd had this one first, there would have been no more.
Look, this is not an easy time.
Mm-mm.
This is probably the hardest time. My mama said to me, she said, I think God made teenagers behave the way they do because it's easier to get them out of the house when they're 18 that way.
Yeah.
It's easier for you to go, you need to go.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you stay here, I'm going to jail.
Yeah.
And you're going in the ground.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. Don't let up. Don't let up.
Yeah. Start
taking his stuff, and if he's one of those that'll go around the house looking for it till he finds it, don't have it in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Lock it in the trunk of your car. Yeah. Take it to a friend's house. Sell it.
I killed a snowball bush from all the switches that got pulled from it and wore out on my butt. But my best friend lived down the road, and I'd go every chance I got, but I was only 5. Yeah. All of my 8 kids never had this issue.
Yeah. So, and they're little people. They're little human beings. They're going to have different personalities. They're going to have different things that's going to make them tick.
Right.
You know,
there's got to be something he's interested in.
And I used to reach out to a lot of people when I was having this issue with Blaze, and everybody said that to me. There's got to be something that he's interested in. You got to find his Achilles heel. And I'm like, look, you guys don't understand. This kid doesn't care. He doesn't care if I take away this. He doesn't care if I take away that. He just doesn't care.
Well, but to be fair, he didn't have like the normal what everybody else had. He didn't have a cell phone. He didn't have internet privileges. There's a lot of things he didn't have that we couldn't take away because we didn't give them to him in the first place. So,
but at the end of the day, what finally worked was repetitiveness. Uh-huh. It was the plain fact that it just got old. Right. It got old, and his hands started to hurt with that axe. You know, he got blisters and stuff on his hands, and he got tired of swinging that axe. Uh-huh. And he got tired of clearing out that part of the property. He got tired of being in those picker bushes. He got tired of that stuff. Mm-hmm. And so he would, and what would happen then is he would fly right for a long time, 3-4 months. And then it was like he forgot. He forgot how his hands felt. He forgot how his shoulders felt. His back felt. He forgot what those cuts from those picker bushes felt like. And then he'd do something crazy. Whoop.
Go on back out there.
Right back out there again. Look, Blaze.
And it's been just long enough that it's grown back. So you can do it all over again. I can't tell you how many times he had to do the same area. Because it would be just enough time that it would need to be done again. Good night, MG. There you go. I got some chain link fence grown up with switch cane. He can start on tomorrow. There you go. But my only suggestion is make sure you keep an eye on him. Because they'll sit around and do nothing.
And see, I disagree with that.
I'm not saying stand over him. I'm just saying every once in a while put eyes on him.
No, but
you had to do that.
But see, you don't make it like you're putting eyes on him. You go out there and you say, here's some water. Drink. Drink right. Oh, I'm not thirsty. Drink. Drink because I'm fitting to go back in the house and you're not coming in the house to get it later.
Right.
Then you take the bucket away.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is you just gotta.
Yeah. Then you take the bucket away.
Yeah.
And you look at it. This is a battle of wills. It's a game. He's going to see how long it's going to take you to do it. To break. Let him sit on the bucket. Let him sit on the bucket. Come back out there. Hand him some water. Okay. Well, I'm hungry. Yeah, well, lunch is at 12. I'll see you. And then bring him out a peanut butter sandwich. No jelly. Just a peanut butter. Boop. There you go. Here's your water. Okay. All right. Give him 30 minutes. And then I would sit out there with him at lunch, and I'd eat with him. Say, you're not really making a lot of progress. This is going to take you a long time.
Now, okay, so one thing, here's the problem with that, Steve. We come from the old ways where that's okay. No work, no food. But I will tell you right now that defects will be on your door if they hear that you're holding food as a punishment.
Yep.
Flat out. We weren't even doing that, but somebody overheard a conversation where I said, well, if he's not going to feed the pigs, don't let him eat and see how he feels. And it was just a conversation, and that's part of what prompted the thing with that plus his haircut.
Yeah.
So that's unfortunately, because they came and tried to tell us that, and Jason said, well, what's the statute of limitations on that? Because my parents sent me to bed with no dinner a lot of times.
And so you sit there with him, give him 30 minutes to eat.
Yep.
He doesn't eat it. He says he's not going to eat it. That's his choice. You provided it to him.
Yeah.
Take it back. Offer him the water. He doesn't drink it.
Right.
Take it back. Dump it out in front of him and walk away.
Yeah.
If you see him doing something else other than that, go out there and say, Fence, is the fence done? No. Get back on it. I'm not doing it. You're not doing anything else until it's done either.
Right.
Plain and simple. And then I'd gut his room. Take the door off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're not required to keep a door on his bedroom. That's not,
And if he wants to call the cops,
let him.
Hand him the phone.
And tell him the crap that you're doing. Because I'll tell you, one time Blaze took off walking down the road to cool off. But he was still too small. And so somebody thought he was an 11-year-old walking down the street. And so somebody called and reported it. Mm-hmm. Cops went and got him. Well, at that point in time, Blaze was 15 or 16. So he was old enough. And that was one thing we kept telling him. When you hit a certain age, you're going to do stuff that we can't save you from anymore. Mm-hmm. At some point, you're going to be held accountable that we're not going to be able to get you out of.
Yep.
And that was the night. We went down there because we called and said, hey, has anybody seen, because we don't know where he is. And they were like, you know what, we had a report, but they're saying he's 11. And I'm like, he's a small guy. Like, well, it might be him just down the road over by the Guidestones. We're like, all right. So we ride down there. And, I think he thought that we were going to not get in trouble, but that we were going to get a lashing. And instead, the cop looked at him and said, I could take your butt to jail.
Yeah.
He said, I could take you to jail right now if I wanted to. But we have a good county in that kind of aspect. They can recognize when there's somebody that's just having a bad go of it. The guy gave him his card and said, hey, if you just want to talk, whatever, we'll, I'll chat with you if you want to come down to the station sometime, whatever. Because sometimes it's not, it's not something you want to talk to mom or dad about. You're new here to this area. He said, but I'm going to tell you right now, you can't just leave your parents' house and not tell them where you're going. Because that's against the law. You cannot do that.
Yep.
And I think Blaze realized real quick that was not,
Yep. And if he walks off and he doesn't come back, he goes over to a friend's house. That's fine. If you know his friends, where his friends are, he goes and disappears. Just call his friend's house. Hey, he show up there? Don't let him know I'm looking for him. Did he show up there? All right, thanks. Mm-hmm. Boop. Lock the door. Go to bed. Don't stay up worried about him. You know he's over at his friend's house. You know he's safe. Mm-hmm. When he comes back the next morning and the door's locked, let me in. Who are you?
Yeah.
Who are you?
And that could be another problem. Doesn't have any friends. If he doesn't have anybody as a sounding board, that can be tough too.
15 is a rough age. 16 makes it harder.
Yeah.
17, you're going to have a huge battle if you don't nip this in the bud now.
Right.
And it may become physical for you.
Yeah.
And it may be that you need to have a conversation with your husband and say, you need a different job.
Right. Something needs to change.
You need to be here every night because this is getting out of control.
Right. Don't send him off. That's not an option. You know, that's giving up. Has he always been this way, or did it start? And so that's a good question too, because one thing we always noticed with Blaze is he would be on the straight and narrow, and then something would happen, and almost always it was because something changed. And we'd have to pry it out of him to find out what it was that set him off.
Yeah.
Y'all should have seen me the day he asked me to drive him and friends to a movie. Go to a friend's house, and I'm like, you're babysitting, how responsible. Girl's like, no, he's mine. Oh, my nephew was 17, he turned out to be a good kid because he had stuff to do. He was interested in fixing cars. Yeah.
It's just one of those things that put him on that fence.
Yeah.
And you gotta, look, it's harder for moms than it is for dad. I'll be the first one to say that. Because moms, you naturally want to nourish. And you have to fight. You have to fight that urge.
Yeah.
Because boys are hard-headed, and this is a battle of wills for you.
Yeah.
And you have to win. You can't lose this. See, you've been losing. You've got to win. And once you win the first time, the second one gets easier. The third one, and the fourth one, and the fifth one. You have to tell yourself, I know he's out there at that fence. I'm going out to give him some water, so I know he's not going to get dehydrated and get heat stroke.
Right.
And plus, you get to check on him. Now, if he's working and making good progress, and he's really making an effort, then maybe you make him a ham sandwich for lunch.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
And if he just goes out there and he knocks it out, over, done with, gone. The punishment has to fit the crime. That's another thing that is extremely important. You can't make him go chop down an oak tree because
He didn't get to dinner on time.
Yeah, he didn't do the dishes correctly.
Right.
Now, if he didn't do the dishes correctly for like the 100th time in a row and he started throwing plates, you can bet your ass he better be out there chopping down a tree. But as long as the punishment fits the crime. And with boys, manual labor works. Take his PlayStations, his phones, put bullets in them. Destroy them so that they can't get put back together.
Yeah.
Burn them.
And like Steve said, reward good behavior, punish bad behavior. You have to do both. You can't just constantly punish or just reward. You have to do both. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've been on here for almost 2 hours.
And you can email us anytime. If you just need somebody to vent to, email us. We'll let you vent. We'll tell you what we've done because, look, we have been in that exact situation.
Yep.
Blaze would kill animals just because he got mad. He'd kill chickens. And most of the time it was because of him dealing with his daddy issues. But we had to work through it. He's put dents in vehicles. Okay? But he learned how to fix them. You know? And it can be one of those things that it's tough. It's going to be a lot of work. There's not one answer that is a fix it all the time. You have to be on your toes all the time. And you have to be quick.
Yeah. And I always hate when you bring up the fact that he didn't go out and like kill chickens like a serial killer. It was because he was frustrated, he was angry, or something happened, and he just did something that,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he'd get ticked off and kick a waterer and it take out a chicken or something, along those lines. Or he would just say, to heck with y'all, I'm not doing my chores, and then he would not feed somebody, and then we'd have an issue with animals getting sick or, whatever.
Common Sense University doesn't give a degree. Then what do you do when your children grow up and they don't want to talk to you anymore? They will come back around.
Yeah. I mean, Jason had that kind of relationship with his dad.
Look, I was immature.
Yeah.
And I used to blame my daddy for a lot of my...
Everything.
a lot of my ghosts in my closet.
Mm-hmm. When we met, that's what, I mean...
And there came a time in my life that God started working on me, and I started holding myself accountable. And I wrote my daddy a letter apologizing to him for me not taking responsibility for my actions and blaming him all the time.
You even offered to give him some money. Remember the one time we walked and you were like, came at him with what, $300-400. It was like, look, I want to give this to you for all the headaches that I ever caused. And he's like,
all the times I left the gas tank empty, all of that.
Just the fact that you even wanted to do that is enough. Keep your money.
I understand mine can't calm himself when he is angry. Yeah, he's what we called hulking out. You got to let him do it. He's got something.
There's something going on.
There's something going on in there that you're not comfortable with sharing in the chat, and I get that. If you want to email us, please do. And we can help you through there. Your oldest son moved out when he was 19. He's turned 26. He still won't talk to me.
Still too early.
It's too early.
Still too early.
I was in my late 30s when I finally took responsibility for my actions.
Don't give up. Don't give up. Just always be available.
Yep. Let them know the door's like my daddy did. The door is always there.
Yeah.
Whether you choose or not to bring your ugly butt through it, it's completely on you.
And the level of the relationship, because even when we were dating, he was still not wanting to do much with his parents, but we still went because of me having Carol and Ladessa and having Blaze. We still went. He just was always at arm's distance, and then one day it just kind of clicked, and and then things totally changed. So,
believe it or not, it'll start Common Sense when he has children of his
own children. Yeah.
When your child has children of their own, they will start to come around.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Sure, we can pray.
Left at 18, talking about giant conversation out of him. Yeah, I mean it's unfortunate that it just seems to be the natural progression of things.
Mm-hmm.
So.
That's just the way that it is. You better hurry on more grandchildren. Stuff like that happens.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you say her channel name again?
Nature's Basics.
Nature's Basics.
There you go. Nature's Basics.
All right, you guys. If you pray, let's go ahead and let's bow our heads together, and we'll pray for Nature's Basics and Common Sense. Right now. Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight together, united. Lord, we lift two of our own up to you in prayer tonight. We lift Nature's Basics and Common Sense without a degree. Lord, they're struggling as parents. Father, they're having the hardest time with their children. Lord, we ask that you give them a sense of peace. Lord, let them know that what they're doing is the right thing, that they just need to keep doing what they're doing. And Lord, we ask that you put your healing hands on their children. Lord, we ask that something happens in these children's lives that makes it no doubt, that there is no doubt that nothing can be explained away except for that you are real, Lord. Lord, and we ask that you work on these children's hearts, Lord, and work on them to get them to honor and respect their parents. And Lord, we ask that you comfort their parents and give them peace, Lord, and let them know that there is a light at the end of this tunnel. And Father God, there's somebody in there tonight that's hurting. I don't know who it is, but you just laid it on my heart the way that you did, Lord. And Lord, we want to lift this person up to you, God. And God, we ask that this person, they let go. They let go of whatever it is that they're holding on that's stopping them from having a relationship with you. Lord, they're holding on to that back of the pew, like they like to say in church. Lord, somebody is holding on and they're fighting having a relationship with you, Lord. And we ask that you just soften their hearts so they can just let it go. Lord, let them trust in the power of the love that you have for us, knowing that you sent your only Son to die on the cross because of our sins. Lord, we ask that you be with everybody tonight as we end this live stream and we go our separate ways. Lord, we ask for your hands of protection and healing upon all of us until we meet again. And it's in your Son's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right. Well, given that, I think that's a good place.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys have a wonderful evening.
You guys remember, be kind to one another. You don't know what that other person could be going through. They could be having issues with their kids. Mm-hmm. And just a simple smile and a hello may make their day. You may get a new friend that you've never had a friend like that before in your life. Mm-hmm. It might be God's way of bringing you two together. Remember to repurpose, reuse, and recycle. Keep things out of the landfill. God made us. It's in Genesis. He gave us dominion over the plants and the animals. He gave us dominion over this planet. We're supposed to be good husbands, and we are not. Keep things out of the landfill. Encourage your cities to revitalize their downtown so that way they're not cutting down more forest lands to put up a strip mall that will be gone in less than a decade. We thank you guys for coming. Hold on, I gotta put up the other stuff. Now I can say, we thank you guys for coming and sticking with us for this big, super long live stream. We had a great time. Guys, thank you so much. And we will see you guys in a video.
Good night, y'all.
Night.